Hello, I'm Juha from Finland, and one way to look at my chapter is that it says that many things are great. First and foremost, finding out your students' conceptions about programming concepts is great, because that helps you teach your students better. Also, the number of so-called misconceptions that students have about basic concepts is great. This chapter covers quite a few of those. The impact of students' prior knowledge on their learning of programming is great. Students bring in math, they bring in natural language, they bring in their experience of various everyday phenomena, and all of that impacts on how they perceive programming concepts. The number of example programs that students should see and work on is great. There's a ton of things to learn. There's a lot of these little subtle nuances that students need to come to appreciate, and there's many pitfalls to avoid, and that takes a bunch of examples. This chapter illustrates some of that. Deliberately teaching students a way to reason about program behavior is great. Students will try to reason about program behavior in any case, and in order for them to have a good chance of success and to avoid unproductive failure, they need help with that. Expressions, values, and evaluation are great and sometimes undervalued concepts. They're great because they help us look inside what goes on in a line of code. They help us avoid a bunch of pitfalls, and they help us understand how and why constructs can be combined in a program. Using a REPL, an interactive interpreter, is great because it helps students study all those little examples that they need, and because it helps them experiment very easily. Scaffolded tracing, explaining code completion, fixing, debugging activities are all great when you manage to motivate them well enough so that students actually engage in these activities. Drawing attention to the literal versus non-literal language that we use about programming and programs is great, but I don't have the time to go into the details here. Using analogies carefully is great. Well, you can explore with your students how an analogy fits and how the analogy does not fit. I don't seem to have spent my 3 minutes yet, so that's great. And finally, the fact that this book has been published is great, and I hope you enjoy and find it useful. Thank you.